I want to now quickly run through debit orders. This is very important I saw lots of existing wealth engineers in that little grid shot there a minute ago, and that's great. So this is for you. New wealth engineers, listen up anyway, because it's important, but you're not going to get it the first time. It's relatively complicated. I have to admit that there are many systems involved, and it causes confusion and it causes upset. After this evening, I'm hoping you won't be emotional about it anymore. You'll be more objective about it, because knowledge gives you objectivity and perspective. So let's get this going. All right. So understanding debit orders, particularly over a period like December and January, is critical in understanding what reflects on your phone app, okay, and how you're going to earn at the end of the day, and to get rid of that emotion and stress around it. Okay, so what I want to show you here is that debit orders at DuePoint are particularly unique. And so please don't come to me. I've had a few people come to me and say, but you need to do it like Hollard. I'm not doing it like Hollard, because Hollard doesn't do what DuePoint does, okay? DuePoint's number one objective is wealth creation, is it not? Is DuePoint's number one objective the sale of financial services products? No, okay, Lynette's got it and Arulaf's got it. No, it's wealth creation. The way we do it happens to be linked to financial services, okay? But the financial services have to fit into our space, not the other way around. So at DuePoint, the payment you make, whether it's for DuePoint Enterprise or for your product, is tuned into a calendar month so that we can calculate your returns and rewards. So you may know sometimes you go, well, I want to pay on the 28th of November for December. And your insurance company will go, no, that's fine. But at DuePoint, it's not fine. Because at DuePoint, I have to calculate your returns and rewards for November. So if you're going to pay in November, then it's going to be for November. All right. So that is critical for you to remember. Whatever day your debit order is on, look at the month. It's not the day that counts, it's the month that counts. Our system looks at the calendar month that your debit order is paid on so that we can calculate the returns and rewards for each calendar month. So no, but at my previous insurer, then, they could just, I'm not interested in your previous insurer, because your previous insurer was not building wealth for South Africans. We are. So from the 1st of every month to the 31st of every month, or any payments that are paid in those 31 days will count for that month. So whether you pay on the last day or the first day, the payment is for that month. So let's look at it. If you pay, I wonder if I can get, no, I can't. Can you guys see my little pointy arrow? See my pointy arrow on the screen? No. How do I find my annotation thing with the sharing? You see, I'm using the beta version. These are my annotations. You're using slides. That's not going to let me do annotations. Okay, so you're going to just follow my voice then. Bottom left-hand corner, you see first debit order date. You see it's in green. That says the 1st of January. If your debit order goes off on the 1st of January, what month will it count for? January. If it goes off on the 15th of January, it's going to count for the January. If it goes off on the 31st of January, what month does it count for? January. Okay. Now, when you fill out an application form with someone and that person goes, okay, set my first debit order for the 31st, but my recurring debit order, see the blue one? You see the blue one, bottom right-hand corner? But my recurring debit order, I want on the 1st. What's going to happen to that individual? They're going to get debited on the 31st of January. And then what's going to happen on the 1st of February? They're going to get debited again. And then what do? They come to you and go, I knew it was a scam. I knew it. You debited me twice in 2 days. You robbers, you thieves. They then call client service and spit and swear at them and all that. And we go, no. Your 31st of January payment was for January. That means you need a payment in February in order to earn your returns and rewards, which means you're going to pay on the 1st. So here's a suggestion. If the person says, let my first debit order go off on the 31st, then say to them, let your recurring debit order go off on the 31st too, because it means then that instead of being hit on the 31st and the 1st, we'll take it off on the 31st of January, and then we'll take it off on the 28th of February, and then the 31st of March. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So don't make the mistake of having the person put their regular debit order on the 1st and their first debit order on the 31st. They will get hit twice. Okay. That's a simple thing. I need you to remember. But now let's get a little bit more complicated, the stuff you haven't seen before. All right. Weekends and public holidays. I had assumed that everybody understood this. I don't know why. I've been an auditor and a chartered accountant my whole life. So I just learned it somewhere along the line and I understood it. So I took for granted that people understood this, but I've discovered that people don't actually understand this. The overarching principles is that the banks will do what the banks want to do. So I can give you some fundamentals we've learned over 25 years of being in this industry. But none of the fundamentals I give you are written in concrete. Because tonight, any one of the banks may change their mind and do what they want to do. So what I want you and your teams henceforth to do is to stop blaming DuePoint for debit orders. Because what I get is DuePoint didn't raise my debit order. Do you actually believe that? Do you believe that we're in the business of not collecting money from people? So the next time you go, oh, DuePoint didn't this, did. Stop yourself, take a step back and go, hang on a second. This is not DuePoint. This is not DuePoint. And every bank is different. So the banks do the weirdest things. And I'll have one group of debit orders that have done one thing. And in the same month, a separate set of debit orders at a different bank doing a totally different thing. And all the blame pours on to dearest Brendan Benfield, getting phone calls on his cell phone. I don't know how people get my cell phone number. I think you guys palm it out because they're like, don't shout at me, shout at Brendan. You know, it's nonsense. What you need to understand with the debit order system is it is in control of the banks. The banks control it, not DuePoint. So never ever think that DuePoint does anything. Now, having said that, everything I'm going to tell you tonight is what we've learned, but can change on a dime in a moment. Okay, so fundamentally, banks do not raise debit orders on weekends and public holidays, but on occasion they do. So you might have a month where a debit order comes off your bank account on a Saturday or Sunday, but that would be an exception. You will find that every other month where your debit order falls on a Saturday or Sunday, it's not going to raise on that Saturday or Sunday. It's not. It's going to raise on the next business day. Not the next day, not Monday, the next business day. You know, again, I understand for some people this is complicated and I apologize, but it's not complicated. You know that if you've set your debit order for the 1st of January, New Year's Day, it's not going to raise. Have I lost half of you? Why do you think it's not going to raise on the 1st of January? Because it's a public holiday. The bank's computer systems apparently need a break too. I've never understood it, but that's what they tell me. Their computer systems don't work on public holidays. And you'll go, but yes, but the bank charged me bank fees on the 1st of January. Yeah. Yeah, the bank did charge you bank fees on the 1st of January because they never take a holiday. But the debit orders from third parties like DuePoint, they don't raise on public holidays. Okay, so let's look at what happens. If your debit order is set for the 1st of the month and it's the 1st of January, which this year happened to be Saturday, okay, double whammy, ladies and gentlemen, public holiday and weekend, no hope of it raising. No hope. Okay. And so what did I have on Tuesday when I returned to work? Bucket loads of tears in my office from hundreds of people all telling us that we're from the devil, we've stolen their money, we don't deliver enough. I kid you not, these were all statements made to us on Tuesday morning. Why? Because the banks didn't raise their debit orders. Remember, everyone was going for the double achievers quest. So they thought DuePoint, because this is what we do and have done over the last 6 years, because DuePoint was trying to sabotage their success. Why is that the first conclusion people reach? If you were one of those people, and I know who you are, tonight, ask yourself the question, why you immediately jump to the conclusion that the big bad corporate was there to sabotage you. That's not. It was simply a case of being the first, and therefore it didn't raise. Now, one of the beautiful things about DuePoint's extremely advanced systems is the fact that our system knows. that debit orders don't raise on weekends and public holidays. So you know what it does? It sends the debit order to the bank and it waits. And it waits and it waits and it waits until the bank raises the debit order, sends the data back to us, and you know what it does? Our system allocates the payment back to the Saturday. Isn't that awesome? So it doesn't mean that people whose debit orders were on the 1st of January now didn't count for the Achievers Quest. What it meant was that your app didn't reflect it until Wednesday morning. That's all it meant, because let's look at what happened. The bank didn't raise it on the 1st. It waited until midnight on Monday night. Midnight on Monday night, the first working day, it raised those debit orders. It didn't send feedback to us at that point. No, because there's some, it needs a whole day to just send us the API link. You find at DuePoint, it's instant. Everywhere else, it's not. But nonetheless, so it then sent the signal back to us at midnight on Tuesday night, the 4th, at which point DuePoint updated your app. It updated your app at midnight on Tuesday on the 4th, which meant when you woke up on Wednesday morning, the 5th, your app had Saturday's debit orders reflected on it. All right, is everybody following me now? This is where people get lost. They go, but I don't understand, Brendan. Yes, okay, they didn't raise it on Saturday. Why is it not reflecting on Monday? Because they don't raise it at midnight on Sunday night, because that would be the only way it could reflect on Monday. They raise it at midnight on Monday night, and they send us the signal at midnight on Tuesday night, which means you only see it on Wednesday. So where you see debit orders hitting public holidays or weekends, you need to wait at least until the middle of the following week before you can tell whether it's been paid or unpaid on your app. Okay, nice rule of thumb. On occasion, they'll raise it on the Saturday. I don't know why. Like maybe there's 52 Saturdays this year. 2 of the 52, they'll just raise the debit orders on the Saturday. My IT team cannot explain it. And we sit directly with FNB's dev team. We're like one of their preferred dev guys. So we actually speak to the team. They can't explain it either. There must be a ghost in the machine. There must be. Their systems were developed back in the 70s. You can imagine there's some guy back in 1971 programmed a line item that he was like, every 50th and 37th Saturday, we raise the debit orders. And nobody's been able to find that line of code since 1971. So, but generally accept that if it's on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, it's not going to raise. If it does, great, but just accept it won't. If it doesn't raise, wait until Wednesday before calling into the client service team. Okay, Wednesday you'll see it. Now, here's the real kicker. For the next 5 business days, not calendar days, business days, because remember the computers at the bank don't work on weekends, business days, the bank will continue to send us feedback on the same debit order. So your friend Peter on point 1 on your app or in your channel, his debit order is the 1st of January. It fails because, well, it just doesn't raise on the 1st of January. On midnight on the 3rd, it goes off. Tuesday night, it comes in, and we say on Wednesday morning, hey, he's paid. And then Thursday comes, and the bank says, yeah, he's still paid. And then Friday comes, and they say, oh, he's unpaid. He's unpaid. I can tear my hair out with the bank, but the bank can't explain that to us either. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is by Friday, he's been to the bank and he's reversed it. You guys have all been there. You know that. Okay. So this is why we run consolidation at midnight on the 16th of the following month, because you've got 15 days in which to re-raise any outstanding debit orders. And then we cut off on the 15th to say we're not taking any more feedback for the month. We've given it 16 days. That's enough time. We've got to have a cutoff somewhere, and we cut off. So understand that while on Wednesday morning, you may have debit orders that have been paid, they have not officially been paid until 5 days later. 5 days later, if they're still paid, you're good to go. Okay. Don't say, but Brendan, why did it say it's paid and now it's unpaid? It's not me. These are signals we receive at midnight from all the banks. They're all the same, every night for 5 business days after the first signal. Okay. All right. As I said, it is a bit complicated, but I want to explain it to you like everything so that there's never any part of DuePoint you don't understand. If you've not been following me tonight, just come and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. Okay. So now let's do a couple of scenarios. We know what's going on. Let's do this a bit quicker. Okay. The 1st of January is not 2022 now. Now it's some distant future, maybe 2023. In fact, I think I did do it from 2023. So the 1st of January is a Sunday in this scenario. Your debit order goes to the bank. The bank goes, it's a Sunday. I'm not raising it. It then pushes it over to the Monday. What's happening on the Monday here? It's a public holiday, isn't it? Why is it a public holiday? Because the 1st was on a Sunday. What happens to public holidays that are on the Sunday? They push them to Monday. You know that. It has to stay on a Saturday. If it's a Saturday, we don't get the Monday off. But if it's a Sunday, the Monday's off. The bank's computers need a break too. They don't work on the Monday, so they don't raise the debit orders on the Monday. Let's go back to the previous example. Do you remember the previous example? It just raised it on the 3rd. Now it doesn't. Now it goes, sorry, it's a public holiday, so I now need to raise it on the Tuesday. Look at the blue block. I have to raise it on the Tuesday at midnight, which means that we only get signal back from them Wednesday at midnight, which means this 1st of January debit order only reflects in your app from Wednesday morning. Okay. Can you see how this has been like crossing your eyes from the beginning? How come I don't see it in my app? You don't see it in your app because the bank is not raising these debit orders when you expect them to. So weekends and public holidays, you know it's going to be issued. Now, this is interesting. You'll see the last block says 5th to the 11th. Why does it say 5th to the 11th? That's because there's a weekend in between. So we get feedback for the Thursday morning, you get feedback. You get feedback on the Friday, nothing on the Saturday and Sunday. You get feedback again on the Monday and the Tuesday from the bank. So before you can go, yes, this debit order on the 1st was paid, you have to wait until the 11th. Only by the 11th will we be able to confirm that it's paid. And that's got nothing to do with DuePoint. DuePoint instantly reflects every signal that comes from the bank. It's the way the banks work debit orders in South Africa. Okay, so that's scenario number 2. Scenario number 3. All right, so your chosen debit order is the 15th of April. The 15th of April happens to be a public holiday. It's a Friday, but it's a public holiday. What's going to happen? When is this debit order going to go off? Okay, that weekend, I actually looked here. So it's more than a public holiday. I'm getting ahead of myself. What this year? What's happening on Friday, the 15th of April? Can anybody guess what's happening on Friday, the 15th? It's Good Friday. Oh dear. That's a 4-day weekend. So you've set your debit order for the 15th of April. When is this debit order going to raise? It raises on the 19th of April. Because Friday's a public holiday, Saturday's a Saturday, Sunday's a Sunday, and Monday's a public holiday because Sunday was Easter. So the bank will not raise it for 4 days. The first time it raises is on midnight of the Tuesday after the Friday. That's when the debit order is raised. Our system is bright enough, remember, to allocate it back. So the moment we get feedback on midnight, the 20th, this is Wednesday, we instantly allocate it back. So if there's any incentive running for April, returns and rewards running for April, it's in the right days, okay? But your app only updates on Thursday morning, the 21st. The debit order was the 15th, but your app only updates on the morning of the 21st. Okay, and then from the 20th to the 26th, you're going to be getting feedback on that. Is it paid? Yes, 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 no, yes, I don't know. You're going to be getting it only by the 26th of April. That's 11 days after that debit order was meant to raise. Will you be able to confirm that it's been paid? Okay, you're going to understand now the complexity of our returns and rewards system. People are always like, oh, but Brendan, why don't you just this. There is huge complexity behind these banking systems. In fact, we have one developer whose sole role is the maintenance and development of the banking gateway of Prime Meridian Direct and DuePoint. That's his entire job because of the massive complexities. So when you guys asked us to include the first as part of the Achievers Quest calculation, I had to spend $250,000 employing this one guy to do that development. Brendan, just add one more day. Just. Do you see what I'm saying? A hugely complex system. But I'm hoping now you understand that any debit order actually that would have run on Easter weekend would only have started being raised on that Tuesday night. All righty.